everyone. Well, it's extraordinary circumstances that we find ourselves in at the moment. New Zealand is on day 1 of the lockdown with the coronavirus, and everybody should be at home, unless of course they are an essential worker. So today was supposed to be my card class for the month, but of course that couldn't go ahead. So I've decided I would try doing a video instead. I'm not used to doing these videos, so let's see how it turns out. I guess the more of them I do, the more practice I'll get, and hopefully maybe I might get a bit more used to it. The class we're going to be completing the Notes of Kindness card kit today, so that's what I'm doing this video based on. And here it is, so let's take a look. In your kit, you will get a stamp set, and there's some pearls and some dimensionals. You get a block, you get a Stampin' spot, some really pretty copper twine, and then there are the pre-printed stamped decals, images. You pop those out and you use them to decorate the cards. You've got the card bases themselves, a few sentiment stickers. You can see that they come in more than one language. They come in English as well as French and German. Then you've got a few more stickers and things to decorate your cards with, and some pre-stitched pop-out pieces that you stamp the sentiments and things on. And then the envelopes, they're pretty as well because they're printed on the inside. One thing I will say about this card kit, it's really pretty, but if you feel that you don't want a huge number of thank you cards, or that you don't have really a need for thank you cards, then you can just use whatever stamp set that you already have and stamp your own sentiments on them, on the pieces, and make the cards however you want. They don't have to be thank you cards. Stampin' Up have confirmed to us that the warehouse in Australia is business as usual, and we have had confirmation that the couriers will be running. So we will be able to get orders through. And if you want to order this card kit, you can absolutely order it online and have it sent directly to you. Crafting is going to be a really great way to get us through this time and give us things to do whilst we're stuck at home. So here are the cards, the completed cards. Let's put that aside of what they look like once they are all put together. So as you can see, as I said, they are really pretty, and they really don't have to be thank you cards if you really don't want them to be. A lot of people say to me in my classes that, well, you know, I don't use a lot of thank you cards, or I don't use a lot of this particular card or that particular card, and really you can make them however you want. So let's go ahead and put the first one together. Inside the kit you get this pamphlet, and when you open it up you see that it has different languages. This is the English version, obviously. It's got a key here. So number 1 says stamp in basic black ink. Number 2, adhere using dimensionals. 3, thread and adhere the loop, etc, etc. So when you turn it over onto the back page, you see pictures of the cards. And there is, I'll bring it up to the camera, you can see there are numbers here on the pictures which tell you which things are supposed to be done how. So the first one I'm going to do is the You're So Kind. So I want to get that green card base. Let's put that aside. I'm going to get that green card base. And there is also some leaves that I will need to pop out. And there is the stamped sentiment, You're So Kind, which I will need to stamp on one of these pieces that you pop out. So number 1 is telling me to stamp my sentiment in basic black. So what I need to do is pop out one of these square stitched frame, stitched, a bit like the stitched shaped dies really, but already done for you. Pop out one of those, and I have got my stamp mounted on my block. And whilst the kit does come with this little mini ink spot, I'm going to use my Memento because it's a bit bigger and it's a little bit easier for me to use. So I've got a mat here, a foam mat. When you're using a photopolymer stamp, which this one is, then you're going to get a better image if you've got a mat, foam mat underneath. So I'm inking up my stamp, which is slightly off screen, you're not seeing me do. And then I'm going to stamp that down on my square. I'm just going to give it a little bit of time for the ink to transfer across onto the square. And then I'm going to take it away. The next thing it's telling me to do is number 2, which is that's going to be popped up on dimensionals, but it's slightly out of order. I'm not quite ready to do that yet. So I want to take my card base and obviously fold it in half. I'm going to burnish it with my bone folder, so that's to give it a nice crisp edge. And not sure if you're seeing my picture here. There we go. You can see that I've got the pink banner on there. So here is my sheet of pink banners. They're actually stickers. You peel them off. They're very thick once you do peel them off, which is great. And you want to stick it to the front of your card. Make sure it's straight. I'm trying my best here. We'll see what happens. And then I've got some of the flowers, some of the leaves here, which need to be stuck on. So as you can see, this is another pop out, which you pop out from its surround. And that's just going to go on there, something like that. Now if I look at my instructions again, it's telling me, it's pointing to that leaf, and it's telling me number 6. And number 6 was to adhere with snail. Snail isn't something that I use a lot of. I much prefer to use my Tombow, my multi-purpose glue. So I'm going to be using my Tombow, and I'm going to put a bit on the back of this, and I'm going to attach it to my card, something like that. Then you can see that there's a lovely bit of this nice twine, and that you've got to loop it around and stick it on. So let me just cut some of that off. Okay, so I've got a bit of the twine here, and I've made it into a loop, and I've sort of got a little bit of it frayed there, and I'm just going to place it on here how I think that I like it, and then I'm going to stick it down. You could stick that down with a glue dot. The kit does come with a little sheet of mini glue dots, but I seem to have misplaced them, so I'm just going to adhere this with a little bit of the tear and tape instead. When I put my tear and tape on, I like to use it a bit like sellotape and just stick it straight on over the top like that. That way it holds my ribbon down, and when I peel the backing off, it also gives something for the other side to stick to as well. So when I bring this in over the top, it also gives that something to stick to. Having said that, I'm going to be attaching that with dimensionals, so it really doesn't matter if I peel that backing off or not. So I can sit that on top of it, and I can see if it's where I think I might like it, and I can make any adjustments that I feel I need to make, muck around with it. When I'm ready, I can put some dimensionals that come with the kit on the back of this piece, and then I can stick it on. I'm going to stick one in the middle as well. You may think, oh my gosh, I'm using a lot of dimensionals, but it's going to keep it nice and popped up, and there's not going to be any saggy parts. Position that over the top. And there we have our first card. It's very simple to put together, but very pretty. So let's take that one away. The next card on the instructions is this one here. So we're going to need the pre-printed card base that has the leaves on it. So let's start with that. Again, we need our bone folder. Fold the card in half and burnish it with the bone folder. Goes right that way. Then you can see that we need this one here, the flower, the rose, whatever you want to call it. I think it looks like a rose. We'll pop that one out. And we also need another piece of that twine. So I have that here as well. So it's telling us that we want to loop the twine again. So I will do the same thing. Put it sort of looped how I want it and attach it. So I'll get that sorted. I'll be back to you in a moment. Right, so I've done the same thing. I have attached the ribbon in a loop and I've stuck it down with a bit of the tear and tape again. If you don't have tear and tape, it does come, as I said before, with glue dots in the pack, and the glue dots will be perfect for that. The other option you can do, the flower here needs to be stuck on with dimensionals. So what you could do is you could just stick a dimensional there, and then that would hold it, and that would pop it up, pop this up at the same time. So you may not even need tape. So I've put my dimensionals on the back, and I've now placed that flower over the top of my loop. You can fluff out the ends if you'd like to, or play around with it and see how you like it to look. And then you could leave it like that. It's quite nice if you just wanted it like that, if you wanted just a simple card for any occasion. But the instructions, I'm following the kit to show you how to do it. The instructions use one of these thank you stickers. So again, they're a sticker, and you just need to peel them off. Again, they're quite thick. And then place it on top of your flower, however you think you'd like it. Make sure it's straight, or however you think it should sit. Basically, just stick it on. Now, there's one more thing that this card needs, and it suggests that it needs the pearls. There's a number 4 there, which tells us to add the pearls. So these packet of pearls come with the kit, and when I can get them open, I will add a couple on. Take your pick tool. I find this tool really, really useful, and it's good for pearls as well. So you can either use this end, the pokey tool end as we call it, or I think it's this end. Let me check. When you pull this end off and turn it around, nope, it's not that end, it's this end. You can either use the pokey tool, or you can unlock it, turn it, and use the spatula end. Either end is quite useful for getting under things like pearls and sticking them on, but I'm quite going to use the pokey tool end because I find that easier. So I'm just going to get that under there and add a couple of pearls to my project. Now they say you should add things in odd numbers, so I'm going to add 3 to this card. Where are we going to put the last one? I think there, on the flower. Yeah, we'll try it on the flower. There we go. And then we've got our second card completed. Very, very easy, but very pretty again. So 2 down, 2 to go. So our third card is this one down here. I see I've got ink on my picture, but you can get the gist of it. We're going to need the card base that has the watercolour wash. So as before, fold our card base and give it a burnish with our bone folder. And then we will need a few stamps and a few pop outs. So first of all, we need these stickers here. I can bring that back into the frame again a little bit. How's that? And we need a green one, which looks to me like it goes around about there somewhere. I'm gonna try and get it straight with the bottom of the card. That would be a good step, wouldn't it? And then we need a pink one. And the pink one, oh, it looks like the green was on top, but never mind. My one, the pink's on top. It's never a mistake. It's just a creative difference. Right, there we go. So stick that on there. Now, the next thing that you can see is we've got some stamping here, the little crosses. So I have my stamp set up on my block. And we also have this cutout of this pretty flower as well, which is going to go there somewhere with the crosses behind it. Right, and in hindsight, if I'd been thinking, I should have stamped those crosses first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that sticker sheet and I'm just going to cover that up just with the back of it in case I get any ink where I don't particularly want it. So I ink it up with my block and put one there somewhere and one. Actually, I'm even going to stamp it over that so that I don't get it where I don't want it. And one there, maybe around there somewhere. Don't do what I did. Stamp it first. Then that's going to go somewhere around there. So you can always stamp more later if you think that you've missed some, but I'm quite happy with where those are stamped. The other thing we're going to need to stamp is the thanks. And that's going to be on another one of these pieces that we pop out that look like the stitched shapes or the rectangle stitched dies. They've already got you see they've already got the stitching around them. And I'm going to bring in my foam mat again. Put that on my foam mat. Grab my thanks stamp. Ink it up. And then line it up and stamp it on there. Give it a few seconds for the ink to transfer. And there you have it. So the flower, it says in the instructions, is raised up on dimensionals. So let's put some dimensionals on the back of that, and then I'll show you what I'm thinking. So that goes on there like that. And that will sit there somehow like that. Now, looking at the picture, you see that the thanks is sort of on top of the flower. See how I mean? Sort of sitting on top. But it doesn't suggest that the thanks should be on dimensionals. And I haven't decided whether I want it on dimensionals or not. I don't think I do. So I'm just going to stick that straight on with my Tombow. But that is completely up to you. You can put it on with dimensionals or not put it on dimensionals. Whichever you think looks best. So I'm going to put that, position that for my crosses. And I'm going to stick my thanks around about there somewhere. And I've got my flower to stick on over the top. Let's go. not covering up my thanks too much, but I'm also not wanting to cover up my crosses too much that I stamped either. And then the last thing that it says to do is grab some of the twine and tie it into a bow and add that with a glue dot. I'm just going to trim this down. I've got my sewing scissors here. You can use whichever scissors that you find most useful. And I'm going to stick that on somewhere. Let me just get glue dots. So the kit does come with the little glue dots, as I say, but I seem to have misplaced them somewhere, so I'm just going to use my regular glue dots. And I've got it on the end of my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just going to roll it a little so that it's like a long narrow glue dot. It's going to fit better behind my knot. You're not going to see it quite as much. I don't know whether you can see that on the camera. It's pretty hard to see, but I've got it well hidden behind the knot. And then I'm just going to attach it there because I think that's where it looks good. And that's an extra dot there where I don't want it. So again, it's never a mistake. It's creative difference. I'm going to grab one of the pearls from the kit and add a pearl. But because our one pearl I think is going to look a little bit odd, I'll have to add 3. That's okay. Just adds to it. Then you'd never know that bit of ink was there, would you? And that's our third card done. So the final card base we've got left, we've got this card to go. The final card base is the one with the sort of leaves hanging down. As before, we'll fold it in half and burnish that. Turn it around the correct way so I haven't got it upside down. And we can see that we need a pink rectangle. These stickers are really thick, they're great. And we're also going to need to pop out one of these so that we can stamp on it. Now, I could be wrong. It looks like there may be some extras here in the kit, so that if you do muck something up when you're stamping, you've got extra that you can stamp with. And then we need some more of that twine. So we're going to put the sticker around about there somewhere. And then I'll bring in my stamping mat again. And my stamp, which I've already got on my G block. With that little piece of cardstock. Is that the right size? Yes. It just looked a little bit small. Thought I might have had the wrong one. Ink it up again. Then we'll see if I can stamp this without getting my head in the video. And still getting it straight. See how I do. Hold it there for a few moments, let that ink transfer, especially with that solid background. I like to sort of just hold it there. Oh, I didn't get it very straight, did I? Let's see if I can do another one off camera. Hold on a moment. Right, that's a bit better. I got that one straight this time. But I was just thinking, if you do what I just did, and you don't stamp it straight, what you can do, depending how straight your eye is, grab your scissors, and you can just manually trim it down. You won't have quite the tag has quite a nice rounded little edge to it, which you'll lose, but it's a possibility. It's something that you can do to fix your boo-boo if you need to, and then you've got that straight. So I'm going to use the second one that I stamped. And we want to put some of this twine behind there again. So we can position it how we want it, make it a bit smaller, a bit bigger. And I'll show you what I meant by using those dimensionals. Get how I want it. Because this tag is going to be popped up on dimensionals, instead of using the tape as I have done with the other cards, you could just pop a dimensional on there like that, and that will hold it. Grab my sewing scissors again and kind of trim that down a bit because it's a bit long for my liking. The other thing you can do with your dimensionals is, if you want to save them a bit, is you can chop them in half and use half a dimensional on each end and then stick that on, but then it's in the way. I'm going to have to turn that around to allow room for the one that I've already stuck there. There we go. How's that? Peel the backing off there. And peel the backing off here. And we can attach that. So like I said before, if you want to, you can sort of grab the ends of the, I don't know how easily you can see that, grab the ends of the twine and twist it and fluff it out a bit. It looks a little better fluffed out in my mind than just being the end piece. I'll get my crown with that. And then the last thing that card needs is more of the pearls. So I bring the pearls back in and one there and one there. Again, odd numbers. I'm putting 3 on. Okay, back on that. And we've got the last card finished. Now, if you want to, you can use any of the stamps that are part of the set. The leaf would look really nice. Let's do that on the inside of this one. And put it on the inside. So grab another block. And your cards always look nice when they're decorated on the inside as well. It just gives them that extra little touch. People notice it and they appreciate it too. See, you've got that nice decoration on the inside. So let's bring them all back in. There's, move that, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's our 4 cards that we've made today. And the next thing I want to point out to you is page 63 of your mini catalogue. It's a really useful page here, and it's called Maximise Your Kit Sets. So I don't know whether you've spotted it yet or not, but this one here, so it's called Maximise Your Kit Sets, and this one here is the Notes of Kindness stamp set. And it shows you ideas that you can create with the stamp set after you've finished putting the kit together, because you've still got a perfectly good stamp set, so why not use it? And I really took a liking to this particular one here, the You're So Kind, and I decided that I would make a masculine card with that one. And here's my masculine version of that card, using the Golden Honey Designer Series, Specialty Designer Series paper, which was part of the Celebration offerings, the free Celebration. That was it there. Unfortunately, that one has now sold out, so you can't get that one any longer, but the new flowering foils designer series paper as part of the second release of Celebration, I believe is still available. And really, you could use any designer series paper that you've got. I needed a masculine one, and I really took a liking to that design, so I went with it. And I've also used on that one the metallic baker's twine sequins combo pack for the baker's twine that I've got across there. As for the available to that one, I believe it's still available. I haven't heard otherwise, but it's a great little one, that one as well. So that's another offering. And then I also used the stamp set and created another couple of cards using the Tropical Oasis Memories and More card pack. So there is one of them. You'll notice that there's the stamp set, the stamp that we used for the last card. And I've stamped it with Versamark, and I've heat embossed it. And I've just used one of those cards from the Tropical Oasis Memories and More, and put some black cardstock behind it and turned it into a thank you card. And then I've done the same thing, Tropical Oasis Memories and More, and this time I stamped it in, well, I think that might be terracotta tile, and made a card with that one. So you can use the stamp set again and again. And like I said before, if you really don't want thank you cards, use any stamp set that you've got and use the card bases, use all the bits in the kit. There's so much there, and they make really pretty cards. So, they don't have to be thank you cards. Thank you for watching the video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed bringing it to you. And as I say earlier, perhaps if I can manage to do a few more, then maybe I'll get a bit more used to doing it, and maybe I might even be able to bring you a couple more. We'll have to see. Thanks again, and stay safe, everyone. I hope the next 4 weeks goes quickly for you and easily for you, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that people are going to do what they're asked to do and stay home, and that we don't have to extend this 4 weeks any longer than we have to, and that we can nail this thing. We can get rid of it and everybody can be safe. So I'm here if you need anything. If you need my help with anything, I'm a phone call away. Obviously I can't physically come and help you, but I'm more than happy to try and do a video or talk to you over the phone or email me. And yeah, happy crafting. Do some crafting while you're stuck at home. Thanks again, everyone. So I'll see you later.